right back. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and all the other 80-plus gender options that Facebook offers to the approximately 1-hour rambling ego trip spectacular X-TREME. Now, before we begin, I would like to note that if any of you wishes to get up for a drink of water, go use the bathroom up here in between intermission while I'm talking, you're welcome to do so. No need to hold it in more than you have to. However, I do encourage myself and any other audience member who wishes to participate to attentively stare at anyone who does so in order to make him, her, 80-plus feel as uncomfortable as possible. I would also like to note that Mr. Steve Salmons up there is recording this, so that it can be posted onto YouTube for the further viewing pleasure of others and those who weren't able to pay to come here. Making all of you who came here to see this, making all of you who paid to come here and see this, suckers! Then again, all the proceeds from ticket sales will go to musical production and the chorus room, so you're very generous suckers, which is even worse than a regular sucker. Another thing I would like to note is that I have a script up here with me because I'm a filthy casual like that. However, it's only up here for emergencies it's only up here for emergencies, so I will refrain from using it. Besides, you can make a better connection with your audience when you use eye contact. Let's see what you think alike. Now, with that rather lengthy introduction out of the way, let's get this ball rolling down a slope and crash, boom. Now, this is of course my senior project, as I would never put this much effort into something just for funsies. Now, one thing that a lot of people associate with the senior project and the senior year in general is the terrible, dreaded senioritis, which sounds like what Larry King gets after eating a large meal, but really it's just procrastination brought on by naive immaturity, personified as this fast-spreading kind of zombie plague by our superiors so that our underdeveloped, feeble minds can better grasp the concept. Wonder what 28 days later would be like without senioritis. We have to escape London while we can! I don't really feel like it. Oh my God! He's become one of them! Maybe tomorrow. The reason I bring all this up is because senioritis hit me like a ton of bricks. I told myself after my junior year, right after my junior year, and the summer break came along, that I would take that extra free time to get my material done for this senior project, so that I could spare myself the last-minute stress and the gut-wrenching humiliation of becoming another number in the statistic of people who honor the time-honored tradition of answering the question, what did you learn from doing your senior project? With, well, I learned not to procrastinate and be a responsible adult. I can even open my own juice boxes now. It was my plan to get my material finished by September 1st. I did not finish until September 4th. The 4th. I swear, time just slips by like fast when you get older. Okay. High school is such a serious thing. These problems matter. As drab and cliches. Sorry. As drab and cliche as it may seem, I suppose as drab and cliche as it may be, I suppose talking about this slice of life nonsense is inevitable given my position in the long line to the bathroom that is life. But it's not because I view some overdramatic retrospective on my high school experience as some kind of rite of passage for people who think they're just that frickin' interesting. Rather, it's just easy pickings, so to speak. It's kind of hard just to get up here and talk about abstract pop culture references for approximately 1 hour. Wait a minute, wait. That actually sounds really easy. Well, I already wrote the material, so we'll just do it. Okay. In my Spanish 1 class, we learned about Frida Kahlo, a World War II era Latina painter who, her work is just phenomenal. I mean, it's so beautiful that I cannot put it into words. So, here we have this Elmo here, and I will show you how beautiful it is by showing you the picture. Pretty much all of her paintings are self-portraits that dismember, disfigure, and/or discombobulate her like this one. Only difference being this is her only portrait that I can only show in a PG environment. It's tame, relatively speaking. Though my favorite part about this is probably her stone-cold face. It's a face that says, "For you, the day that Frida Kahlo painted herself as an arrow-rattled deer woman was the most important day of your life." For me, however, it was Tuesday. So yeah, only thing I really retained from Spanish 1. Oh, right! I'm supposed to be talking more about high school than painters that I like. Kind of just totally spaced it. It can slip past one's conscious mind like what you had for dinner the night before, whatever I was going to use as a second example. I suppose it's because because my high school experience was relatively dull. And I never ditched class. I don't go anywhere outside of school during open lunch. I seldom dress for Hallows Eve or Spirit Days. I've never even stayed past midnight after prom. Never even been to prom. Well, I suppose there's always next year. Never mind. So yeah, no social life. But who needs a social life when you have the 3 R's? Reading, writing, and Reaganomics. I'm Ronald Reagan and I approve this message. Crazy Deer Lady is just one example of some of the many cool things you can learn about in high school that is pretty much useless in real life. Like in my English class last year, I learned that everything is an allegory for communism. Everything. Except for communism itself. That's an allegory for Disney's Cool Runnings, the movie about the Jamaican bobsled team. Maybe you're a bit skeptical about this. Well, allow me to elaborate. Animal Farm by George Orwell, communism. The Crucible by, I forget who wrote it, communism. The Duck Pond Scene from Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, communism. Twilight by Satan, communism. Okay, I guess I kind of have to go into a little bit of detail there. So, all right, let me just explain the last 2. The Duck Pond Scene is symbolic because, all right, the ducks. I mean, the duck pond represents Russia, see? And the ducks themselves represent Ivan Trotsky, opposing candidate to Joseph Stalin for the leadership of Russia. And the ducks flying away from the pond. Oh, glasses broke. Oh, here it is. Yeah, the ducks flying away from the pond is symbolic for Trotsky fleeing the country under the influence of Stalin's secret police. The secret police being represented by the temperature that causes the pond to freeze. Now, twilight is symbolic for communism in that Bella represents the Russian population. And Jacob and Edward represent Trotsky and Stalin, respectively. And Bella, having to choose between the two, represents the election for power that preceded V.R. Lenin's death. And much like the election, not only do we all know who she's going to choose, it's also an unsatisfying, incoherent mess with an unsatisfying conclusion. So unsatisfying. Now, another one of the most invaluably impractical things I learned about was definitely physics. Though I use the term learned rather loosely. I did only get a C in that class. After all, it's math for masochists. Masochists, if you will. You start out each day with 5 wicked long word problems, which is like trying to read Shakespeare in binary. And each require highly specific and complex formulas and they're all easy to mix up because of how eerily similar they look to one another. And you need to do 10 more for homework every night. It never stops. And it just expects you to not miss any of it. It's like driving 200 miles per hour through Disneyland, except it's nowhere near as fun. I think the only thing that I really, really learned from that class was what I learned when I watched the film The Core in class. You know that film where the Earth stops rotating because of science, and then the scientists got to counter it with science of their own, and the science itself doesn't even make much sense, but whatever. I learned that everyone in the film is just like, it's the core! In fact, I think the poster tagline for the sequel, Core 2, Coronation, was, it's the core! Again! If only more movie poster taglines were honest. Then we would have stuff like Expendables 3. It's just like the Expendables 2, but somehow worse. Grown Ups 2. Really, just what were you expecting? Unbroken. A 3-hour torture session for protagonist and audience alike. Shrek Forever After. It's all ogre now. I, Frankenstein. Really, just what were you expecting? A Christmas Story. A movie so good that you will never shut up about it, ever. Especially if you're TBS. Twilight. We feel you, bro. But I think there's one movie poster tagline out there that is not only better than those, but it's real. It's the tagline for the poster to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jr. You know, the movie where he's a scientist and gets pregnant? I know, totally makes sense. The 90s. Right, well, anyways, the tagline is, nothing is inconceivable. Nothing is inconceivable. Nothing is inconceivable. The beautifully crafted pun, the ham-fisted, uplifting tone to it that just makes it feel campy and ironic, all adds up to a top-tier tagline. Mwah! And did you hear that they're making a Grown Ups 3? Oh man, no, kill me now. I do not want to live in the same world, nay, the same universe as a Grown Ups 3. What was I talking about again? Monster High? Ugh, Monster High. What a disgustingly polished piece of commercialized Just seeing how it shamelessly panders to trends and demographics makes me rue my tween years. Transition! Rambling ego trip spectacular, extreme, or no, I think it's important that an approximately 1 hour show should have some variety. So, instead of standing up here and talking, I will be... and with visual aids, no less. These visual aids in question are comic books that I drew in my youth, based on the cult children's television series Ed, Edd and Eddy. It's recycled material. I don't know why you're so happy about it. But yeah, when I say cult, I mean that there are likely cults based around its philosophies. And teachings, too. Now, one could call these books fan fiction. And if these were poorly written romance stories written by an inept 9-year-old, then, oh, thank you, you would be right. But alas, these are not romantic in the slightest. So, with all that said, let's start our look at these with The Adventures of Captain Melonhead, Book 5. Oh, my mistake. It's The Adventures of Captain Melonhead. Alright, so yeah, the cover, it's pretty much just our titular hero standing around, surrounded by all these floating words and ink bleeds. Not exactly the most engaging or inspirational of covers, but to be fair, I am quite interested to see how he fights crime with such grotesque physical deformities. I mean, really, this guy should stop standing around and go see a doctor about this horribly slanted posture, these legs too short for his body, this big, massive tumor arm, and what I can only describe as cauliflower hands. But I suppose it's good that he's at least not suffering from Youngblood's disease. If you're wondering which of these physical traits is caused by Youngblood's disease, yes. We open in the dead of night at a candy store that appears to glow neon pink, when what looks like a centaur missing its front legs breaks in and walks off with an impractically high shelf of jaw-brackers in tow. The next day, Kevin shows up to buy some jaw-brackers, but is told by this purple-hatted gentleman, who I think is the owner, that every single one was stolen. Every single one stolen. That this one shelf of like 6 or 7 jawbreakers was this guy's entire inventory. Wow, no wonder this guy can't afford surveillance cameras. Or a burglar alarm. Or a nose. Okay, sorry, forget the nose thing. Nobody here has a nose. And for that matter, I don't know what kind of canon this shares with the series, but doesn't Kevin's dad work at a jawbreaker factory, meaning that he has unlimited access to all the jawbreakers he wants, like right in his garage? Oh, wait, no. Silly me. I'm getting mixed up with jawbreakers. It's a very easy mistake. He wants jawbreakers. Totally threw me off. Okay, so Kevin, having a pretty good sized head on his shoulders, literally, decides to do the reasonable thing and summon the local vigilante, who's not much younger than him, with a public access spotlight. Johnny 2x4, noticing the Melling signal, zooms to his Melling cave, which, given the proportions, looks more like a Melling crawl space, and reemerges as our titular tumor-armed word for hero that begins with T, Captain Mellinghead. Alliteration successful. Meanwhile, Professor Checkmark says, "All the jawbreakers," and then wahahas. Though I find it strange there's only a period at the end of that laugh. Probably just sad because he got his head cut off. Alright, later again, the Captain meets up with Jimmy, the latter expositing that, and I quote, Doc, and Docky stole the jawbreakers. So indeed. Ooh, trivia. Question 1. Who is Mellinghead 5 enemy? Where? There's your obscure One Piece reference for the day. Question 2.
Who is his sidekick? Wait, does that question apply to Mellinghead or his enemy? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, whatever. Oh, this one is a doozy. We cut to Eddie, who is floating around in purgatory, being overtaken by some kind of strange blue mold, and wearing a Bane mask.
Once I scammed you at a measly quarter, then you have my permission to die.
He then floats over to a jawbreaker and turns his head to reveal a massive ear tumor. You know, considering just how deformed in this book everyone looks, it wouldn't surprise me if this cul-de-sac were in Chernobyl. But we trade one set of weirdness for another as the captain zooms through the air on an invisible bobsled, cracks through the window, and declares, "Surrender!" Eddie then zooms over to the only background in this entire book and reemerges as the husband from that in living color sketch about the Thigh Master. Surrender and prepare to... Wait, wouldn't surrendering eliminate the need to prepare to fight? Well, whatever. Floating head fight scene, Scam gets a spray tan, and then he uses something called a tractor bem on the captain, which somehow ties him up and suspends him over a bathtub filled with ponte things. Our hero appears to be in dire straits, but Kevin and Purple Hat Guy, who due to lack of sequential art, I can only assume have just been standing there the whole time watching, put a stop to this mad scheme. Boy, the Thigh Master is all the rage these days. A week restriction on you! Okay, I'm not quite sure what a restriction is myself, but he only gets a week of it? I mean, this little maniac stole merchandise from your store, he stole it. He suspends his nemesises over piles of sharp objects from potentially fatal drop heights, uses tractor bends on people, and you're not even going to give him a 2-week restriction? Wow, no wonder there are so few adults on this show. Survival of the fittest, man. Well, whatever, they then free the captain from his bondage in this ridiculously tiny panel. Because this panel needed so much room for this one speech balloon. And the issue ends with the captain returning to his Melling cave. He's picked his last suite. Boy, the captain really needs to work on his quips. That, and you don't know that for sure. I mean, it's not like you send him to jail or anything. It's okay. Cops don't exist in our reality either. Well, you have people in spandex who make everything explode. It's not the same. And whoa. Hang on. John Candy was in this? John Candy was in this. Okay, where was he? John Candy. Ink leads, partially colored pictures, partially colored board. All right, whatever. Moving on to book 6. Brain Drand? Those who reject me will be stupid! Eddie then proceeds to fire some kind of purple energy gack out of, I think, his sleeve that turns everybody in the cul-de-sac into angry Asian caricatures. Johnny 2x4 is informed of this happening by Jimmy, the latter having avoided his brain draining because the plot required it. And heaven forbid our main character figure out anything for himself. Learn to speak English! Well, yeah, whatever. The captain zooms over to his Melling crawl space, which in between books seems to have upgraded to a Melling tent, and wow, that's a huge spider! And, Yeah. Transform henshin no melon. Elsewhere. Double D's disembodied rhombus head berates Eddie for missing all but 2 of the kids. Fun fact. Even though fun fact is kind of an overused term, but yeah, fun fact. When I was 5, I used to think that Double D was a girl. Wait a minute. A girl named Double D. Oh. Oh. You're the chosen one, Harry. Oh. Leviosa. That joke was so 2012. Elsewhere, some talking popsicles debate the meaning of life or something. Maybe they're making a cameo from that new Pixar movie. Oh yeah. Later, we cut to we cut to the captain zooming over to Eddie's house, dodging many kinds of misshapen potholes. And as previously established in evidence in the previous book, Eddie's house is his purgatory-esque domain where the laws of matter and physics are his idle playthings. Maybe it's the power of his stand. I mean, we'll see more evidence here. I mean, whatever Eddie is floating over to hide behind to change into Professor Scam is not only a perfect geometrical shape, or at least meant to be, it's completely devoid of color. This is purgatory we're in. Well, then a fight scene ensues when Professor Scam sicks his henchmen, which I can't remember if these are poorly constructed robots or if they are just poorly drawn people, onto the captain. However, I mean, wow, this floor is really slanted. Man, Eddie must be having, Professor Scam, his identity secret. He must be having a lot of fun with his superpowered, his purgatory domain, idle playthings, blur, blur, blur. Of course, however, it seems that this idle playthings thing works both ways, as the captain's kicks don't even have to connect to hurt the henchmen. In fact, he even goes so far as to taunt them by remarking that they make this Tose. Yeah! But this seems to matter for naught, as a giant metal boot comes crashing down from the ceiling, crushing the captain. Ouch. And he survives. Again, idle playthings. When the captain comes to, he finds himself suspended over a bathtub filled with black holes. Again, idle playthings. Then, whoa, dear, what is with Ed's face? Is someone at the door? Oh, hi.
Everyone glare at that.
If you can't walk the walk, don't talk the talk. Okay, so what is with Ed's skin? Either we just stepped into an episode of Doug, or this really is Chernobyl, or idle playthings. Well, Ed frees the captain from his bondage and this ridiculous by throwing what looks like a garden spade at him. Oh, I love this pose that the captain does when he's freed. He's like, "What? Come at me, bro! I got a wooden stick." And he then defeats takes this opportunity to defeat Scam by delivering a giant drop kick to his giant oversized head. But not before putting some overalls on, apparently. And then, dear Black Jesus, what am I looking at? Okay. Is everything okay back there? I think I heard someone fall down. Okay, we're good. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to try and decipher this secret code from the Illuminati as best I can. Okay, the way the controls of the brain drainer are angled with his arms, or at least I hope that's his arm. kind of resembles one of those optical illusions where you don't know where it ends or where it begins. And that's only the most explainable of these things. I mean, his Melling helmet is completely devoid of color. He's grinning all the way up to his scalp. His logo is trying to escape from his shirt. His legs, they don't even look like legs. They look like some kind of weird mermaid fin. But at least the spelling is good. Ish. So yeah, he controls the brain drainer and frees everybody. Yee. And then back to the mountains, cave. I'm tired. Do you want to take a 5-minute break? I think we should take a 5-minute break. Time for intermission, yay! 5!
Play it, bro.
Love is a battlefield.